Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Albert Mack joins us. He is a first-time candidate for the Clark County Commission, here for the whole show on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up-to-date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to welcome for the first time to the program Albert Mack. He is a candidate for Clark County Commission District, District F. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Sam, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Let's start out, before we get to some of the historical data, as most people are not aware of who you are at this point in time, tell us who you are and what you do for a living.
So my name is Albert Mack. I am a father of four. I am a businessman. So I've been in business my entire life, mostly small businesses that are very service oriented. So a lot of, very blue collar, outstanding people. Done a lot on the charity scene as far as helping with the Valley and things that we can do. Joined the Use of Force board, which was a citizen board with Metro Police Department, where anytime there's a officer ball shooting, we get called, we go to the actual scene, we see it, we understand it, and then we go through a hearing process and tactics and filing and all of that. And other than that, I'm just a regular person who really just wants to see the Valley succeed and wants to see everybody have the same opportunities that, frankly, I've been given as a fourth generation, Las Vegan, and everything that my parents, my grandfather, my great grandfather were all lucky enough to find here in Vegas is what we're hopefully pushing out for everybody else.
Okay, and you're involved in the financial world, correct?
Yes.
So what do you do in the financial world?
So my business partner and I have done a number of private equity deals. So what we do is we identify small cap businesses, mostly here in the Vegas Valley. And what they are is typically people who are very good at what they do and have amazing work ethic and something that they can really build, but they're not necessarily professionals. And so once they reach a certain level, they can't quite get over the hump. And so my partner and I, we come in and typically we just help professionalize them. So we work their back end, we redo all their vendor deals, we look at their strategy, we help them connect with other businesses that can open doors for them. And we've been successful at it, which has been wonderful.
I would be a liar to say that the first thing that captured my imagination about you was the fact that your first finance report for this campaign showed $1 million, a half a million of which you put in yourself. The other half was put in by at least 100 other donors. I'm sure there have been more since then. Why did you jump into this race and put in so much of your own personal money so quickly when, to my knowledge, you've never run for public office before?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I am a first-time candidate, and to me, with the family background of being here since the 1930s, and a number of, whether it was our family having Vegas Valley Bank of Nevada, moving into real estate development, moving into the building of UNLV, a lot of these things have been kind of a storied history for my family, and I'm happy to go into some more details about that as you asked. But all of that led to myself being in business here, working with Governor Lombardo when he was the sheriff, and then obviously helping him as he ran for governor. And what I saw as the county commission is probably the most powerful body in the state, short of the governor. And what they are able to affect is something that can happen in real time. And what I mean by that is when they vote on something, when they care about something, whether it's development, whether it's first responders, fire safety, whether it's the water district, whatever it might be, they can affect that change very quickly. And to me, it's, my kids are all 11 and under, and whatever the county commission votes on, especially from a growth perspective over the next 4 to 6 years, is going to be the next 30 years worth of actual development. And for me, I thought it was time to have a business person and someone who truly cares about, himself, his family, the people that work with him that are in this valley, have an opportunity to really push through some great projects and get some small businesses to actually be able to have those opportunities that we've had for generations.
All right, so let's before we get to all of that, and I'm going to have all these candidates for District F come on the show and talk, so you're going to be welcome to come back. But I wanted to get some historical perspective. And let's start with your grandfather, because a lot of people are familiar, especially after the NFR, with Thomas and Mack. And E. Perry Thomas was probably, for most people these days, the more famous of the partners. But Jerry Mack is your grandfather. And between the two of them, forming Valley Bank, of which I was a customer, I had my mug for many years. Valley Bank, we're here when you need you. We're there when you need us, rather. But they loaned money to people that nobody would loan money to in the past, at least not conventional money. For example, Steve Wynn, for the tremendous things that he did in the early 1990s. Tell us about your grandfather.
So my grandfather was really my North Star in everything. So he came up here. His father, so my great grandfather, moved here during the Great Depression. So he went, like many people during the Depression, he went completely broke. And the Hoover Dam was later being built, and you had thousands of employees who were hardworking men and receiving, regular paychecks, which was not known in the country at the time. So there was not a lot of opportunity there. And he saw opportunity here in the Valley. And so what he did was he got a loan for $500 and he bought a tow truck and he moved to Boulder so that he could help tow the huge vehicles that were moving earth, moving rock, everything for the build of the Hoover Dam. And that's how my family got started, with one tow truck. And again, as he continued through, that tow truck led to a tire shop, which led to a haberdashery store, so men's clothing, which led to other things in real estate and otherwise. And then for my grandfather, it was the bank. So it was Valley Bank of Nevada. It actually started as Bank of Las Vegas, and then later grew and became Valley Bank of Nevada when it joined in Reno. And at the time, it was the same exact feeling, right? The Valley has true opportunity for people if you just are willing to have the vision to see it. and what my grandfather and his partner Perry Thomas believed was in the gaming industry. And they believed in, if you're willing to build something, that people will come to it. And so fortunately, they were one of the only ones that did lend money to the casinos. And as you can imagine, in those times, it was very difficult sometimes to make sure that you could stay on the right side of things. But Steve Wynn was iconic. Absolutely. I mean, he truly had the vision of what Las Vegas could be. And fortunately for my grandfather, he believed in Steve as well, and loaned him the first money that they had for his casino.
And in fact, the reality is that if it weren't for your grandfather and Perry Thomas, Steve Wynn could never have done what he did.
Well, Steve is a remarkable guy. Like he always seems to figure out ways to get things done. So perhaps he could have figured it out, but it certainly was a huge benefit and a help to have the support of Perry and my grandfather, and the belief in him financially and otherwise.
All right. So last question on this. So from Jerry Mack to you, what's the number one thing that you carry forward from what you learned from your grandfather?
I would say there's three things that are very important to me, and I say this to anybody I ever meet, which usually it comes across genuine, because in the political world, I'm finding it to be very, very different. But I don't lie. I don't exaggerate a story. Those two things are very important. They came from my grandfather, and in his time, your word was everything. Yes, it's great to have a signed contract, but at the end of the day, everybody understood there were real consequences to things. Your reputation mattered. Your word was everything. And so those two things I've taken from him, and I've done, used in my business life, successfully, I think, and I'm going to bring that to my political life. And the final thing was, when you are successful enough for your family to be taken care of, then you need to pick something to give back to the community that's provided that opportunity for you. And for him, it was UNLV. Like, his true belief was, you can't have a thriving city unless you have a thriving education system, which includes a college. And at the time, UNLV, I think, was sitting on 40 or 50 acres. They didn't have much money because Reno got all the money. And I know you're on the Reno side, but they still kind of get all the money. But at the time, my grandfather could see, and Perry as well, could see that Vegas was growing, and it was going to become, hopefully what it is today. And when he looked around, he saw the real estate around UNLV and knew that they could never afford it. And as the city grew and got more successful and more opportunities, people would own that land, and UNLV could never grow. And so what he did, he and Perry formed a land trust in the 1960s, and they went out and they bought up 400 acres approximately of land that UNLV currently sits on today. And they put it in a land trust, and they had to sign personally for that money as the guarantor of all that land. And they allowed UNLV to take down that land at any time at the 1960 something price. And I'm pretty sure UNLV actually took down the last piece of land in the early 2000s at the 1960 something price. And this had nothing to do with personal gain. They didn't make a dime off of it. They could have made, a fortune, as you would know. But to him, it was about giving back to the community and allowing something to thrive so that it would be better for everybody. And so for me, what I take from that is the county commission. This is my give to the community, which is to say, I'm stepping away from my business. I'm going to frankly lose money by not being in my companies. But it's that important to be able to sit on the commission and hopefully make some positive change that can give opportunity back, that my family has been so lucky to have for generations, that other families have had for generations, and that we hope to continue here in the Valley.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Albert Mack. He's a candidate for Clark County Commission, District F, right after this timeout.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers. fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Albert Mack. He is a candidate for Clark County Commission, District F. You've got already several opponents, most prominent Heidi Kasama, also a Republican, Becky Harris, who used to be a Republican, who used to be a Democrat, and is now nonpartisan, so she gets a free ride into the general. She's also the first female chair of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, so an impressive resume there. April Becker got onto the commission last time around, and in an interview over this past weekend that was in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, she talked about how, as a commissioner, she is nonpartisan, that she represents all the people in Clark County, whether they voted for her or not, and that potholes are not partisan issues. What were your thoughts on her comments and how they pertain to you?
So I didn't read the article myself, so I can just go on what you've told me. But at the end of the day, every politician, anybody who is in service of the government is in service of the people, and it's all people. Now, what I would look at is something to say, well, as a Republican, I'm running on certain values, on certain ethics, on certain ways that I believe fiscal conservatism and economic efficiencies, things like that. And so I do believe when you get voted in, it is based on the principles of what you've come out with in the first place. So I wouldn't necessarily say everything is nonpartisan, because you are being voted in for who you are and what you are choosing to do. And ultimately, those are the values that I would bring as the commissioner, and those values would be for everybody.
Let me ask you this. If you were lucky enough to be elected and you were lucky enough to be reelected, you would be there for 12 years. And one of the largest, if not the largest, growth programs is going to come into effect during that time in office. And I'm talking about the Ivanpah Airport. 6,000 acres in the Ivanpah Valley for the airport itself, another 17,000 acres surrounding it for all the things that will go along with that. Tig Segerblum has talked on the program about his concerns about the sprawl going down the I-15 towards it. My colleague Ray Hager, the journalist, did a story for me where he said that Hoover Dam, adjusted for inflation, cost $750 million. Here we're probably talking somewhere in the region of $20+ billion. What are your thoughts on that?
So I haven't seen the full plans. Obviously, the commission and everyone else are still working on it. To me, I think anecdotally, it's showing the unbelievable strength that Las Vegas has as a city and in the valley, that 40+ million visitors come here because we are the tourist capital of the country, if not the world, in many a sense. And with that comes growth, and with that comes the idea of actually being at the forefront of everything we have, as far as technology, as far as airports, as far as what we provide for all the people who choose to come here, and then all the people who work here. And while we definitely need to be diligent of looking at what those plans are and how the money is being spent and what that includes, as far as the roads that go there. Do we do light rail, right? Do we pick something that is able for everyone to be a part of? And of course, the upside of expansion is we get all of our incredible skilled workers to work and to have the careers that they've already started, and to continue that for the next 20 plus years. So I do think there's a lot of advantages, there's a lot of positives, but of course we need to see what the deal really looks like and understand that we're doing it in an efficient way.
Yes, and by the way, nobody has seen the plans yet because they have not been released. But being on the commission, you will have the opportunity to talk to the Director of Aviation, because he works for Clark County, and find out more. Let's take another break and we'll come back. More with Albert Mack, candidate for Clark County Commission, District F, after this timeout.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Points are flying out the door during the Point Party Palooza giveaways going on now at the Carson Valley Inn. Up to 1 million points given away each drawing night, and over 1 million in points guaranteed during the grand prize point explosion. Get in on the action at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Albert Mack. He is a candidate for Clark County Commission, District F. What did you think of the special session that we just went through with the film tax credit? Do you think it was appropriate that it failed? We had John Oseguera, the former Speaker of the Nevada Assembly, on the program recently, who said it's guaranteed to come back in the next regular session. What do you think about those kind of tax abatements?
Well, in general, people were voted in to be in the Assembly and to be in the Senate, and they casted their votes, hopefully based on what their constituents actually wanted. But for me, I didn't read the bill myself, but what I can tell you is, from what I understood, it looked like there were not enough local guarantees of labor. There were no local guarantees of revenue, but there were 100% guarantees of transferable tax credits. And again, I'm not an expert on it, but I'm happy to look into it more. But to me, that doesn't sound like a wonderful deal for the taxpayers. That being said, if it comes back, I'm sure it'll be something that is rewritten and something that can look great for the Valley, can put all our skilled laborers to work, can get, the expansion that we desperately need and add industry. And I think all of those would be wonderful.
As you look at this campaign, what's your number one issue going forward?
To me, it's about transparency and accountability, because I do believe that those things will then lead into development of homes that working class people can afford. And that also dovetails into small businesses and being able to cut red tape and being able to get them open so that they can actually have a successful opportunity to grow their own business. And, I believe we're the only county in the state that doesn't have a transparency in the budget. And it was, from what I understand, it was chosen, right? And so I've already spoken with Commissioner Naft, as he is the new chair, and we've talked about, the county, we've talked about what he sees, and I give him all the credit in the world for sitting down with me just on a cold call. And one of the things that we got to that I would hope is, when I win, that is the first committee that I can be put on is the audit committee. And while it's the least sexy, everybody wants to be on the LVCVA and all of the really fun committees, but the audit committee is tremendous because it shows you where the money is. It shows you what the budgets are. It shows you how it's being spent. And once you start looking at that, you can find efficiencies. You can find ways to actually improve so that we don't need to look at adding taxes or adding fees, but we can actually look at being more efficient with what we already have and then being able to grow from that.
And that's where we have to leave it for now. We will be doing lots more interviews on this District F race because I find it fascinating as we see the changes in Clark County in terms of who's getting elected to the commission. And we'll welcome you back. So thank you for doing this.
I look forward to it, Sam. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you too, sir. And we'll be right back.
They call him High-Flying Aaron Ford. In just 1 year, Aaron Ford spent 137 days out of Nevada, almost 5 months. While Nevadans were here, working, raising families, dealing with everyday problems, Ford was racking up frequent flyer miles, traveling to France, Singapore, Taiwan, and the Yucatan. Nevada doesn't need a globe-trotting politician. We need an attorney general who shows up. High-Flying Aaron Ford. If he won't show up for this job, why promote him to governor?
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.